What's cracking, Jack? You are in the jungle. We're going to break down every single game in the NFL for Week 6, happening Sunday, October 12th, and come up with the best bet for all of them right here, right now. Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to the show, and if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the jungle. I've got a bet for all 12 games in the NFL for Sunday, October 12th, Week 6. And, of course, I'll have a Monday Night Football video for those two games as well, coming out either Saturday or Sunday. I'm going to leave two links for you in the comments section. The first link is to my $5 favorite play of the day. And for just $5 and no further obligation, you get my best NFL bet for Sunday of the day text to your phone. The second link is to become a Jungle member. And for as little as 55 cents a day, you can become a member, receive my full betting card for all sports every single morning. You also get access to our members-only Discord and a direct line to me if you let me to opine and any other bet that you're considering placing. We have a free weekly trial. Take it for a test spin and see if it's for you. Today's video is brought to you by Outlier.bet, the top name in sports betting research, and by Red Lobster, where male cheerleaders pay an extra 15%. First game up is an early one Sunday morning because it's over the pond in London. Cheerio! It's the Broncos and the Jets. The Jets are getting 7.5. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I like the Jets with the points. The Broncos don't blow the doors off you offensively. They're 24th on third down conversions, 19th in scoring, 15th in passing, and when the Jets play teams such as that, they tend to hang around, losing by 2 to the Steelers, losing by 2 to the Buccaneers, losing by 6 to the Dolphins. The only time the Jets have been blown out this season is when they played the Bills and the Cowboys, two very explosive, high-octane offenses. The Broncos' win last week over Philadelphia is less impressive than it appears. They were down 17-3, and there are a lot of underlying metrics that pointed to the Eagles' offense being a bit of a straw man. The line is inflated beyond the key number of 7 here because of the records. The Jets are 0-5 and have played a tough schedule, and because the Broncos win last week against the Eagles. I think this game is going to be closer than people think, and the sharp money agrees with me, as just 37% of tickets are on the Jets with the points, but 77% of the money. I'm happy to take the Jets with more than a touchdown. New York plus 7.5. Rams at Baltimore. Rams are minus 7.5. Now I'm going to handicap this game as if Lamar Jackson and a ton of other Ravens that are listed as questionable or doubtful are not going to play. And if they do play, they'll be somewhat limited, of course. The Baltimore Ravens have the worst defense in the NFL. Dead last in points per game allowed. They're allowing 35.4 points a game. Studies have shown that that's a lot of points. We did the research. They're second worst in red zone efficiency defensively. They allow the most first downs of any team in the NFL, 24.2 a game. That's a ton. They allow the second most passing yards per game and the fourth most rushing yards. And they don't force turnovers, second worst in turnovers forced. We saw what the Texans did to the Ravens last week with what we think will be the Ravens starters again this week. And the Rams are a better version of the Texans. The Texans are a Rams tribute band, if you will. They play the way Houston does, LA does. They just do it better. And they're coming off of a Thursday night loss at home. They've had extra time to prepare and extra recovery time. I don't see a scenario in which the Ravens keep this game close. Take the minus 7.5 with the Rams. Dallas at Carolina. Dallas minus 3.5. I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be competitive. Dak Prescott is playing at a very high level right now. The Cowboys' offense is one of the best in the league. They're first in first downs, third in passing yards, and fourth in points scored. And they're playing a Carolina team that doesn't pass the ball very well. Carolina 26th in passing yards, 25th in scoring. But what they do well is run the football. The Panthers have the 10th best rushing attack in the NFL at 128 yards a game. The Panthers' defense is also good, and they're a pain in the butt at home. They're 2-0 at home this season, and they're fourth defensively in first downs allowed. So the question is, can Carolina slow down the Dallas offense enough? And when they have the ball, can they control it enough to keep this game close and with a number of 3.5? And I think they can. If this number was inside of 3.5, I'd take the Cowboys. But over the key number of 3, I'm looking to take the Panthers with the 3.5 because I think it's going to be a close game. Dallas is worst in the NFL at passing yards allowed. They're 23rd in rushing yards allowed, 30th in the NFL in yards per play allowed, and they're dead last in third down conversion percentage allowed. Opponents are converting 54.9% of third downs against the Cowboys. So the nuts and bolts of this handicap is that I think the Panthers can move the ball well enough and slow down the Cowboys' offense just enough to keep this a close game and inside a field goal. Give me the Panthers with the 3.5. Cardinals at the Colts. Indianapolis -6.5. Arizona's lost 3 straight games, and the Colts are rolling. And we have to get past what teams did last year at this point in the season and recognize that the Colts are the real deal. They're functioning so well on both sides of the ball. They're second in points per game, scoring 32.6, and they're third in points allowed, allowing just 17.8 points a game. The Colts are top 9 offensively in both rushing and passing, and what they do better than anybody. And this is, you guys know this is football 101. They protect the quarterback, and they get after yours. They're first in the NFL in sack prevention. Daniel Jones is getting sacked just 0.8 times per game, lowest in the NFL, as I mentioned. And they're 6th defensively at sacking the opposing quarterback, 2.8 times per game. This is a Cardinals offense that's very underwhelming. They're 30th in passing yards, 27th in yards per play allowed, and yards per play, and 24th in scoring. I think the Colts are a much better team, and they're at home here. Lay the 6.5 with Indianapolis. This line should be 8.5 in my opinion. Seattle at Jacksonville. The Jaguars is getting 1.5 at home. This should be a good football game, and I like the Seahawks on the money line. Seattle's 9-1 under Mike McDonald on the road. Both these teams do things very well, but what Jacksonville does well, running the football, is Seattle's strength defensively. Jacksonville's passing game is predicated on being set up with the run. They're 5th in the NFL in rushing yards. Seattle doesn't defend the pass all that well, but they're very efficient against the run. The Seahawks have the 3rd best run defense in the NFL, allowing just 83 yards a game on the ground. On the other side of that, what Seattle does well is pass the ball, 5th in the NFL, 245.4 yards a game. In Jacksonville, one of the worst teams in the NFL against the pass, 27th, allowing 250.4 a game. And they're 3rd worst in the NFL, allowing 3rd down conversion percentage, opponents converting 47% against them. What Seattle does well offensively, Jacksonville struggles to defend. What Jacksonville does well offensively, Seattle defends well. I like Seattle to win this game on the money line. Chargers at the Dolphins. The Chargers are -3.5. Los Angeles has lost 2 straight games. They've got a boatload of injuries. That's an official metric, a boatload of injuries. The Dolphins blew a 17-point lead last week against the Panthers after getting their first win of the season the week before that against the New York Football Jets. The real difficulty that the Chargers face with their injuries is mostly on the offensive line, and that hurts them more against teams that stop the run better than the Dolphins do. The Dolphins are dead last defensively against the run. They allow 174.2 rushing yards a game, and they're 2nd worst defensively in 3rd down efficiency. They also give up the 4th most points of any team in the NFL. I think the Chargers are a much better coach team, and they have the best player on the field in this game by far in quarterback Justin Herbert. I don't think the injuries hurt the Chargers as much in this game that they do against other teams, and they have enough of an advantage to cover the spread of 3.5. I don't think the Dolphins are good enough to take advantage of the Chargers' injuries. I think the Chargers are significantly better even with those injuries. Give me LA minus the 3.5. Let's talk about sports books. My friends at mybookie.ag have a great deal for younger viewers. Open a new account with mybookie.ag with promo code SILVERBACK, and your first bet is guaranteed to be insured. What that means is that if your first bet with mybookie.ag doesn't hit, they'll refund it up to $500. If you've ever wanted to bet bigger, but were nervous to, this is a great chance to do so. MyBookie.ag is one of the biggest offshore sports books that there is, and they have some of the most competitive lines that you'll find. Open up an account today at MyBookie.ag using promo code SILVERBACK. You've got everything to gain and literally nothing to lose. Next game up, we're looking at New England at New Orleans. Patriots -3.5. I like the Patriots laying the points here. Their cornerbacks finally being healthy have made a big difference in this team defensively. I don't think that New Orleans will be able to throw the ball on New England, but New Orleans likes to run it anyways. But New England is 4th best in the NFL defending the run. They allow just 85.6 yards per game on the ground, and man, did they shut down the Bills' running offense and James Cook last week, one of the best in the league. Defensively, the Saints are good, and they're good against the pass, but this New England offense is different than it's been in the post-Tom Brady era. They score points. They're 13th in scoring, 25 a game, in fact. And they've been getting chunk plays. Pardon me, they're averaging 5.8 yards a play, ninth best in the NFL. Drake May has really evolved as a quarterback, and he's become that passer that can make the play when something breaks down. That's huge. I think New England is on an upward trajectory, especially since their win over Buffalo last week, which, by the way, we picked the Patriots in that game. And I think the Saints are a decent defensive team that struggles to compete week to week. I like New England a lot, minus the 3.5. Browns at the Steelers. Cleveland getting 5.5 points here on the road. Now, people are going to be on the Browns in this game because they're excited about what they saw from Dylan Gabriel last week. Quinshon Judkins is a very good running back, the rookie out of Ohio State, and I'm a huge fan of the Browns' defense. I don't think that the Vikings are a very good team, and as much as Gabriel is an upgrade at the quarterback position for Cleveland, they lost last week to Minnesota by 4, a team that the Steelers destroyed. This is a very tough spot on the road for a rookie quarterback making his second ever career start against Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. They were off last week, 2 weeks to prepare for Dylan Gabriel. And the line reflects the difficulty that the Browns are facing in this game. I think this is a 24 to 14-ish type of game. I like the Steelers minus the 5.5. Tennessee at the Raiders in the Somebody Has to Win Bowl. The Raiders are minus 3.5 at home. These are two terrible offenses, horrendous. Raiders 30th in scoring, Tennessee 31st. Raiders 31st in red zone efficiency. Titans last in third down conversion percentage, last in passing yards, last in yards per play, and last in confidence. Where there is an advantage in this game is with the Raiders in their passing game. They're 16th in the NFL, and as I mentioned, the Titans are dead last at throwing the ball, moving the ball through the air. The Titans' defense is also susceptible to big plays. They allow 5.8 yards per play, which is 4th worst in the NFL. Tennessee needs to be able to run the ball because they can't pass it, and the Raiders' defense defends the run pretty decently. They're 13th against the run, allowing just 101.4 yards a game. I think the Raiders get a much-needed win here, and I think they cover the spread in doing so. I'll take Las Vegas minus the 3.5. Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joey on the spot in Green Bay taking on the Packers. Cincinnati plus 14.5. I don't think it's enough. Now, I think the Packers are overvalued this season, but the Cincinnati Bengals almost don't even belong in the NFL this year. They're absolutely dreadful. Dreadful, I say. Now, I could read you statistic after statistic about the Bengals this season, but we'll save time on that because offensively and defensively, just know that they're at the bottom or toward the bottom in every single metric that there is. They're the worst rushing team in football, and with Joe Flacco, which, by the way, I think bringing him in isn't a desperate move, it's a panic move. And that's even worse. He's just going to throw the ball to Jamar Chase, throw it to T. Higgins, and the Packers will certainly be ready for that because they can't do anything else. They can't run the ball. I think the Packers are a little bit pissed off because they feel like they blew 2 games in a row. And I think they win big against the Bengals team here that really is in disarray, and they cover the spread. I take the Packers minus the 14.5. I think they win by 20-21. San Francisco at Tampa Bay. I'm looking forward to this one. It's a 4:15 game. 2 4-1 teams. Tampa Bay minus 3.5 at home. San Francisco is the number 1 passing offense in the NFL. They move the ball 290.6 yards per game in the air, but they don't score a ton of points. 23rd in scoring, just 21.2 points a game. Tampa Bay scores a lot, 8th in the NFL, putting up 27 points a game. Defensively, the 49ers have an edge here. They're a very good defense. We talk about them not scoring a ton offensively. What they do is they do enough offensively as part of the game plan to lean on the defense and win the game. They're 6th in the NFL in points allowed, allowing just 19.6 points a game. Tampa Bay gives up 26.4. That's 21st. I think San Francisco has a coaching edge in this game. The plan that Kyle Shanahan put together in their win last week against the Rams is brilliant. And I think he knows what he has to do with the parts that he has every week to keep games close. But Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay always find ways to pull the game off. There's another situation where if the number were inside 3.5, I'd take the Buccaneers. But being that it's over the key number of 3 and it's 3.5, I'll take the Niners plus the points in a close game. And the last game we're looking at for Sunday, Detroit at Kansas City. The Chiefs are minus 2.5. Is the wrong team favored here? I think they are. People are having a hard time accepting the things that we've seen and we're seeing from Kansas City. The Chiefs aren't the Chiefs that we're used to seeing. Those Chiefs would have beat the Jaguars on Monday night. They're facing a Lions offense that's number one in the NFL in scoring. They've looked unstoppable the last 3 weeks. Kansas City doesn't have the firepower to keep up with the Lions offensively. The Lions are going to move the football. They're going to score points. When the Lions can run the ball, they're almost unbeatable. And I think they'll be able to run the ball against this Kansas City defense. It's not as good as it used to be. They're 21st against the run, allowing 124 yards a game on the ground. The wrong team is favored here. Take the points with the Lions. Let's have a day, Jungle Nation, and I will see you next time with a little more money in your pocket.